Good morning, class 9. Welcome to the online classes. In our previous class, we had already studied about the nucleus, structure of nucleus, and what are the different parts of the nucleus, like the nuclear membrane, then the nucleus containing the nucleolus and the chromatin network, and we also studied the functions of each of them. So we'll continue with the structure of cell. And now we are coming to the second, that is cytoplasm. You have heard about this word cytoplasm. It is a mass of protoplasm present inside the cell membrane, excluding the nucleus. The definition of cytoplasm is, it is the mass of protoplasm. I write it here. It is the mass of protoplasm present inside the cell membrane, excluding the nucleus. Means the nucleus is not included in it. Only that part of the protoplasm which is present in between, like if I show the diagram here, this is the cell, the nucleus, isn't it? This entire one is called cytoplasm. It is present between the cell membrane and the nucleus. So this mass of the protoplasm, or we can write, it is the protoplasmic mass of the cell. That part of the protoplasm which is present between the cell membrane and the nucleus, it is called cytoplasm. Okay? And cytoplasm is the one in which all the cell organelles are present. So it is made up of two parts. So it is made up of two parts are there. I'll just highlight those words and their function also. Two parts. Number one is called cytosol. Cytosol is the fluid part of the cell. The second one is called the cell organelles. O-R-G-A-N-N-E-L-E-S. Cytosol and cell organelles. Okay? Now see, within a cell or in the cytoplasm, there are two main parts. The liquid part of the cell, it is made up of two parts. What are they? Cytosol and cell organelles. It is the fluid part of the cytoplasm, and this one cell organelles. They are the microscopic structures which are of different form, shape and size, which carry out different types of functions within the cell. So one by one we will study about them. First one is cytosol. As it is said, cytosol is the fluid part. The first point, fluid part or the liquid part of cytoplasm is called, the fluid part of cytoplasm is called cytosol. Now what about the nature? It is dense, okay, and it is viscous. It is dense, it is viscous, crystallo-colloidal liquid, means in the form of crystals also, crystallo-colloidal liquid. It is semi-viscous also. Okay, so it is dense, viscous, crystallo-colloidal liquid which is present inside the cell membrane. Okay, so this one we have done. It is nearly homogeneous. Nearly homogeneous. It's not fully homogeneous or uniform composition is there. Homogeneous also we can write. It is a fluid part of the cytoplasm. It is dense. It is viscous. Viscous means thickness. Like if you take the glycerin and water, water is less viscous, but glycerin is more viscous. Okay, crystallo-colloidal means crystal, the shape of the geometrical figures, crystals, just like sugar crystals are there. Colloidal, this one also you have read in chemistry. It is a liquid, it is homogeneous in nature, and it contains all the cell organelles which are present in it or suspended in it. So I love it, we will continue with that. Okay. So next one we have to do is, it contains number of substances in it. Many substances are present. Substances, which substances are present in this cytosol? like water, ions, mineral ions are there. Okay, it contains carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, etc. Right, because many things are there. So substances like water, ions, carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, enzymes, all are present in the cytosol or the liquid part of the cell. Okay, now next one is, it carries a number of metabolic reaction. Third point. It carries a number of metabolic reactions. Metabolic reactions means like respiration, excretion, etc. Understood? Reactions. So it is the site of metabolic reactions, this fluid part, and it contains many substances dissolved in it. And what type of nature it is, like it is fluid part, and it is dense, it is viscous, it is like crystallo-colloidal, homogeneous liquid. Now next one, number B we have, that is the cell organelles. Number 2, sorry, not B. What are cell organelles we have to study, and then one by one each of the cell organelles with their structure, function and location also. So now number 2 we have the cell organelles. The living parts of the cell, just like in our body, we have many organs which work to carry out different types of functions, like liver is there to produce bile for the digestion of food. Similarly, kidney is there to remove the waste from the body. In a cell, there are very tiny organs which are of different shape and size to carry out different types of functions. They are called cell organelles. So cell organelles are of like subcellular structures. Sub means within the cell, a smaller part of the cell. Subcellular structures. First point you can write, what are they? They are subcellular structures. They are of different shape and size that carry out different types of functions. That carry specific functions. Means each of the cell organelle that carry specific functions. Okay, these particular functions are carried out by each of the cell organelles. Example, mitochondria. It is called energy currency. This one, mitochondria, is called the powerhouse of the cell. Why? Because it is the site of energy production. It is the one which produces energy-rich compounds in the form of ATP. Now, next is, on the basis of membranes, like whether the membranes are, the membrane means outermost covering. So on the basis of membrane, organelles are of 3 types. Cell organelles means are of 3 types. 3 types of cell organelles are found on the basis of the membranes. 3 types of cell organelles are here. What are they? Number A, double membrane. Double means 2 membranes are there. Double membrane organelles. Which organelle, cell organelles are there that contains 2 membranes, outer and inner membrane? Only 2 are there. That is mitochondria and plastids. Mitochondria and plastids are the 2 cell organelles that has double membrane. Means if I draw the diagram here, this is the inner membrane, this one is the outer membrane covering it here. So only 2 cell organelles has got double membrane in it. What are they? Mitochondria and the plastids. So first one we have done, double membrane cell organelles. Now the second one, okay, single membrane cell organelles. Number B, such cell organelles which has a single membrane. Single membrane organelles. Now let's see which cell organelles are there that contains only a single membrane. The example is ER. You know what is the full form of ER? Endoplasmic reticulum. Then we have Golgi apparatus or Golgi body also it is called. It also has a single membrane. Then we have lysosomes, the one which is called suicidal bags of the cell. They also contain a single membrane or covering around them, and the vacuoles which are found in the plant cell, they are also single membrane. Then the next one is membraneless organelles. Membraneless cell organelles means those cell organelles that do not have any membrane or covering around them. Membraneless cell organelles. Okay, what are they? Let's see. Number C, membraneless cell organelles. In such cell organelles in which membrane is absent or lacking. The answer is ribosomes are such cell organelle which has no membrane in it. Ribosomes. And you know what is the function of ribosomes? It helps in protein synthesis. And one more organelle is there which is found only in animal cell, that helps in the process of cell division by the formation of spindle during cell division. So that is called centrosome. Ribosomes and centrosomes are the two cell organelles that do not contain any membrane around it. Whereas those cell organelles which has a single membrane, they are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, and the vacuoles. Vacuoles are found only in plant cell. In animal cell, if they are present, very small or almost negligible. And the centrosome is the cell organelle which is found only in animal cells near the nucleus. That helps in the process of cell division by the formation of spindle fibers. Okay. Now this one is complete. Next topic that we have to do is we have to study about the mitochondria. Okay, cell organelles already we have done. Now mitochondria, the first cell organelles. Okay. Now we are going to study about each of the cell organelles along with their diagram, structure and function. Okay. So first one we are going to do, that is mitochondria. Now you know that mitochondria has nucleus also, so that's why they are called semi-autonomous organelles. So let's start with the very beginning from the discovery. Who discovered this cell organelle? It was discovered in the year 1882 by a scientist called Kolliker. So first point I will write Kolliker. Spelling you can check, K-O-L-L-I-K-E-R. Kolliker discovered in the year 1881. Okay, in which year? In the year 1800. Sorry, not 81. 1880. Kolliker discovered mitochondria in the year 1880. But the name or the term mitochondria was given by mitochondria. The term mitochondria was given by C. Bender in 1897. Okay, I have not written yet, just C. Bender in 1897. What was his contribution? He gave the term, he gave the name that it is called mitochondria. C. Bender in 1897. It is present in, or it is found in this cell organelle, is present in all eukaryotes. Now what is eukaryotes or eukaryotic cell? Means in all the modern cell like plant cell, animal cell contains mitochondria. But it is absent in prokaryotes like bacteria, cyanobacteria. So you can write here only absent in prokaryotes. Okay, prokaryotic means the primitive cells, prokaryotes. Alright. So what are the points we studied till now? Mitochondria discovered by Kolliker in the year 1880. The term mitochondria was given by a scientist called C. Bender in 1897, and it is found in all the eukaryotic cell but absent in prokaryotes, or the prokaryotes means bacterial cell. They have the primitive cellular structure, they lack many membrane-bound cell organelles also. Next we have to study. It was stained by Janssen in order to observe the mitochondria under the microscope. Since it is a subcellular structure, it cannot be seen with our naked eyes. So it was stained by the scientist name is Janus. The scientist stained Janus Green. Spelling you can check JANUSGREE. Janus Green. To observe it under the microscope. To observe it under the microscope. Okay. So stain means to color. In order to see or observe different cell organelles, we need to color them with a particular stain. Then only it can be visible clearly to our naked eyes. So it was stained by Janus Green to observe it under the microscope. It may be of different shape like spherical, oval, cylindrical. So what are the different shapes that mitochondria may be of? Rod shaped also it is sometimes called. Spherical, oval, cylindrical or filamentous. These are the different shapes. Shape may be spherical, cylindrical, filamentous. Now next point that we have to study is, it is made up of structure of mitochondria we have to study. So what is the structure? Next heading we will give is structure of mitochondria. Okay. So first we will draw the diagram and then we will write about each of these parts. And their function also. So first one is the structure. See, this is the inner membrane. What is it? Sorry, outer membrane. It is thin. The outer membrane is smooth also. There is no breaks in it. It is continuous also. I have not drawn any type of break or gap between them. The inner membrane is thrown into many finger-like invaginations. Alright? Now see, what is that? Finger-like invaginations are called cristae. They are the site of cellular respiration. Okay? Okay, now see this one. This one is called, I will label all the parts first. Outer membrane. Outer membrane. Then this one is known as inner membrane, the second one, which is thrown into finger-like invaginations in the matrix, which is the cytoplasm of this cell. So it is known as inner membrane. Inner membrane. Outer membrane, inner membrane. In between these two, the space which is present, this one, it is called perimitochondrial space. Perimitochondrial space. Okay, this one is called matrix. Matrix is the ground substance which is present, and then you can see these finger-like structures. They are called cristae. C-R-I-S-T-A-E. And on the surface of this inner membrane or cristae, many stalk-like structures, oxysomes are present. So this one is oxysomes with a head and a stalk. They are called oxysomes. Alright? It is the site of, it is the one which contains different types of enzymes and where the cellular respiration occurs. Alright? So what are the, you can see the diagram. This is the figure of mitochondria. It is made up of two parts. What are they? In the structure you have to write. It is made up of two parts. Number one, double membrane or two membranes. Two membranes are there. And number B, the second part, it is this one, the ground substance. It is known as matrix. The other name is, it is the central cavity or matrix. Central cavity, which is also called matrix. Okay, central cavity is known as matrix. So this is the structure that mitochondria is made up of two parts. There are double membrane, outer and inner membrane, and the inner part, this one, it is all known as matrix or the central cavity. Okay, I hope you have understood up to here. Now next, we'll continue with the structure part only, all the parts. Okay, now next, outer membrane is smooth. This point also you can write in the structure. Outer membrane is smooth, but the inner membrane is folded into the matrix in the form of fingers. Okay, finger-like invaginations is there of the matrix. So outer membrane is smooth, but the inner membrane is folded to form several finger-like structures. It is in the form of fingers called matrix. The name of those finger-like structures is called, cristae. C-R-I-S-T-A-E. So finger-like invaginations, if it is asked what is cristae? Cristae are the finger-like foldings of the inner membrane of mitochondria. So what is cristae? Finger-like foldings of the inner membrane of mitochondria into the matrix. So finger-like foldings of the inner membrane of mitochondria into the matrix or in the matrix is called cristae. Alright, now next point. The inner membrane contains, the inner surface of the inner membrane, the inner surface of the inner membrane is covered by small tennis racket-like structure. The small tennis racket-like structures with a head and a stalk. They are called peroxisomes. They are called, oxygens. Oxygens, not peroxisomes. They are called oxysomes. So if it is asked what is oxysomes? Oxysomes are the tennis racket-like structures present on the inner surface of the inner membrane of mitochondria. Understood now? If asked what is oxysomes? Oxysomes are the tennis racket-like structures with a head and a stalk present on the inner surface of the inner membrane of mitochondria. And what do they contain? Okay, oxysomes. There are 10 to the power 4 to 10 to the power 5 number of oxysomes in one mitochondria. So how many? 10 to the power 4 to 10 to the power 5 number of oxysomes in one mitochondria. Okay, I have not written the complete word, mitochondria. So each mitochondria contains this much number of oxysomes, 10 to the power 4 to 10 to the power 5. Means it's quite big number. 10 to the power 4 means, you imagine 10 to the power 4, that is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Means 10,000. And if 5 zeros are there, it means ones, tens, 100,000, 10,000 lakhs, 1 lakh. So 10,000 to 1 lakh oxysomes are present in each mitochondrial. Understood? Now next one is oxysomes. Already we have done. Oxysome particles. Where is that structure? I will just try to draw it and show you where is that oxysomes present. Just now I had drawn the diagram, no, like this mitochondria were there, this finger-like invaginations were there. Here only the oxysomes are present on this cristae. Like if suppose you see the cristae, on the surface of this one is called stalk and this one is known as head. So head and this one is called stalk, S-T-A-L-K. Now how does they appear? Like this, it appears like a tennis racket. No, this one is the head of the racket. And this one is the stalk, the one handle which you hold, isn't it? In order to play, like badminton racket is also there. So this is the stalk and this one is the head. So like this only they appear. Who? The oxysomes. Where they are present? On the surface of, inner surface of, inner membrane of mitochondria. Got it? Okay. Now what do they contain? These oxysomes. Each oxysome contains, or oxygen particles contains an enzyme called ATPase, which are responsible for the synthesis of ATP. So oxygen particle contains an enzyme. The name of the enzyme is ATPase. This ATPase it is called. Okay, which is responsible for the synthesis of ATP. So oxygen particle contain an enzyme called ATPase, which is responsible for the synthesis of ATP. Now what is this ATP? The full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. They are called the energy currency of the cell because plant cells or animal cells spend energy in the form of ATP. And from where it is generated or produced? It is produced inside the oxysomes in the mitochondria. That's why mitochondria are known as powerhouse of the cell. Okay, the inner membrane has respiratory chain complex and enzymes. Now we are talking about the structure only. So inner membrane of mitochondria has respiratory chain complex. What is this respiratory chain complex? It is the part of respiration process. Respiratory chain complex and enzymes. So both enzymes and the respiratory chain complex are present in the inner membrane of mitochondria. Since mitochondria is the site of cellular respiration, so the entire steps of respiration will take place in mitochondria and the cytoplasm only. So that part of the respiration process which is carried out in the mitochondria, it is called respiratory chain complex. And for the process of respiration to occur, several enzymes are required because respiration is an enzyme catalyzed reaction. Means each and every step of respiration is carried out in the presence of a particular enzyme. Now next, the space between the two membranes, already I have shown you in the diagram also, that each mitochondria has two membranes, outer and inner membrane. The gap which is present between the two membranes is called perimitochondrial space. So that also we can write it as or characteristics, the space or the gap between the two membranes, is called perimitochondrial space. Perimitochondrial space. Take the spelling. P-E-R-I, peri means outer surrounding, mitochondrial means mitochondria, space means the gap. The gap which is present between the two membranes, like this one is the outer membrane, this is the inner membrane, okay? So this one, the gap which is there, it is called perimitochondrial space. Got it? Understood? Now next point we have the central cavity and middle part of the mitochondria, the central part. It is filled with matrix. The central part, already I said, the central cavity is filled with matrix. Central cavity is filled with matrix that contains several enzymes, which contains different types of enzymes, Okay, so central cavity is filled with matrix which contains enzymes. It also contains intermediates of respiration, intermediates of respiration, as well as different types of enzymes are there, respiration is there. A double circular stranded, a circular double stranded naked DNA is also present. Okay, circular double stranded means this one is 1, this one is 1, 2. This is called double stranded. In some organisms, only a single stranded DNA is present. In others, or generally all the eukaryotic cells, double stranded or DS DNA is found. What is DNA? It is the genetic material which is found in the chromosomes that determines our hereditary characters. Okay, so now next we have to study about, because of the presence of DNA, one question is asked, why mitochondria is called semi-autonomous organ. I can give you in the homework also. Remember what is the answer here, right? Mitochondria is called semi-autonomous organelle because it contains DNA. Understood? So it can help in the process of replication, but it depends on the nuclear DNA for some part of replication. So it's not fully free or fully it can replicate on its own. It has to depend on the nuclear DNA also. So that's why it is called semi-autonomous organelle. Two organelles are there, mitochondria and the chloroplast. Both of them are called semi-autonomous organelle. Once again I am explaining why mitochondria is called semi-autonomous organelle. Semi means half, not fully, because it contains DNA and it can replicate itself. Means it can make copies of it. Understood? That's why it is called autonomous. Autonomy means the one who has got power to do their own activity. Understood? Without depending on others or without being dictated by others to do that, they are called autonomous. So now let's come to the functions of mitochondria. We have studied about the structure of mitochondria, the general terms or the points, characteristics of mitochondria, like who discovered it, discovery part also, and then the diagram was also shown. Now the last part, that is functions. What functions they do, mitochondria? Okay, so there are three main functions. Number one, you know mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell. So first function is cellular respiration. only respiration I am writing for you to make it easy. Respiration. You know what is respiration? Respiration is a catabolic process. Now see, two types of process are there. The constructive process, which results in the formation of new cells, is called anabolic reactions or anabolism, whereas the destructive process that results in the breakdown of cells is called catabolism. Both anabolism plus catabolism is equal to metabolism. Understood now? So example of anabolic reactions are photosynthesis, in which glucose is produced that results in the formation of new cells and the growth of the plant, whereas respiration is a catabolic process in which glucose is oxidized. I will write the equation, chemical equation, C6H12O6. This is the formula of glucose. Okay, it combines with 6 molecules of oxygen, means it occurs in the presence of oxygen. And what are required for this process to occur? Like enzymes are required. It is an enzyme catalyzed process. This respiration is an enzyme catalyzed process. And what are the end products that is formed due to respiration? 6 molecules of carbon dioxide is produced, plus 6 molecules of water is also formed, plus energy is produced. Now see, this energy is produced in 2 different forms: heat energy and chemical energy. What are they? Heat energy, the one which is required to maintain our body temperature, and chemical energy, that is ATP. Alright, chemical energy. This chemical energy is in the form of adenosine triphosphate. And there are 2 types of respiration also, so we are not going to study in detail about the respiration here, but only you should know that mitochondria are the cell organelles in which respiration occurs. So that's why they are called the powerhouse of the cell, because they generate or produce mitochondria. So now next you have to write, it is the process of, what is respiration? Definition: the process of oxidation. Oxidation means burning in the presence of oxygen. Glucose or organic substances, we can write organic food. Process of oxidation of glucose in the presence of enzymes to produce carbon dioxide, water and energy is called respiration. Okay. Now next, if it is asked why mitochondria is called powerhouse of the cell, the answer is because it is mitochondria where the process of respiration occurs. So first point is clear. The first function of mitochondria is respiration. Now second function, number 2. Number 2 is oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation. LATION. Okay, oxidative phosphorylation. Now what is this oxidative phosphorylation? First phosphorylation, then oxidative. The process of formation of ATP is called phosphorylation. Okay, the process of synthesis of ATP. Now from where is that ATP produced? Process of formation of ATP or synthesis of ATP from ADP. Now what are the full forms? Adenosine diphosphate, this one is triphosphate, and inorganic phosphate. Okay, the process of formation of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate is called phosphorylation. called phosphorylation. Now I'll show you with the help of an equation also. ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate, means two molecules of phosphate is here, PO4, that is phosphate, plus PI. PI means inorganic phosphate here, IP or PI we can write. It gives rise to ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Now 2 phosphate is already there. Now 2 plus 1 phosphate, here IP means inorganic phosphate because it is an inorganic molecule. So 2 plus 1, 3, that's why the word ATP means adenosine triphosphate. 3 molecules of phosphate are there. That's why it is called adenosine triphosphate. Hope understood this one, no? Now next, this ATP, this one, it is called energy currency of the cell. Energy currency of the cell. This is also asked in the question. Why ATP is called energy currency of the cell? Answer is because for any activity or any functions to do, plants need energy, and that energy is spent in the form of ATP. So in all biological system, energy is used in the form of ATP. For all biological functions, energy is used in the form of ATP. Okay? For all biological functions, energy is utilized or used in the form of ATP, and hence ATP is called energy currency of the cell. Hence ATP is called energy currency of the cell. Okay? ATP is called energy currency of the cell. Now next, why mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell? This one I had asked you earlier also. Why mitochondria is called powerhouse of the cell? So answer is, since mitochondria produces ATP, that's why it is known as powerhouse of the cell. As mitochondria synthesize and supply ATP, as mitochondria synthesize and supply energy in the form of ATP. So as mitochondria synthesize also means it produces energy, and it supply also energy in the form of ATP to all living organisms. So it is called energy currency of the cell. So it is called powerhouse of the cell. It is also known as powerhouse of the cell. Because what is the function of powerhouse? The function of powerhouse is to generate electricity, and which is supplied to all our industries, homes and other purpose, railways also. Similarly, in our body or the living body, it is the mitochondria where energy-rich compound called ATP is synthesized and supplied. Okay, hope you understood this one. Now last part is mitochondria are semi-autonomous. Third function, mitochondria are semi-autonomous organelles. Okay, mitochondria are semi-autonomous. Mitochondria are semi-autonomous organelles. Why they are called semi-autonomous? Already I have discussed this point. Because they contain DNA and they can replicate themselves. So I will just write why it is called DNA. Mitochondria is called semi-autonomous organelle because each mitochondria contains own protein synthesizing system, that is DNA, RNA and the ribosomes. each mitochondria contains DNA and can replicate. I will just change it. Replicate each mitochondria contains DNA and can replicate by its own. So it is called semi-autonomous. Organelle. Okay. Mitochondria has its own DNA, but for the process of replication, I had told you earlier also, it need to depend on the nuclear DNA also. Alone its DNA is not sufficient. That's why the word is semi, not fully autonomous. Understood now? So today up to here only, I'll give you the homework, like to draw mitochondria and some short questions also based on mitochondria. You try to do it and we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.